I like it. I think it'll do.
Alright, here we go. Finally time to work on the Cup Car. This is what it's all about, right? Get this baby back on track? Well, hang on a second. We actually need to take a step back and answer some questions. Like, for one, who the hell is this guy? Having never owned a race car or tried to restore one, I knew from the jump I was going to need some help. I have enough tools and skills to be dangerous, but it wasn't going to be me. There was one person I thought would be a good fit, but I wasn't sure he'd want anything to do with this. Zach and I met during Monterey Car Week one year. We bonded instantly over our shared love for quirky old European sports cars and our equally questionable sense of humor.
Yeah.
When I told him about this insane idea, I knew he already had a full-time job, so I asked if he knew anyone local who might be able to help. As luck would have it, his circumstances were changing. He was opening up his own shop, and he told me to bring the car by once it arrived. Only one small issue. I didn't have any way of getting the car there. No truck, no trailer. Probably shouldn't buy a race car without a way to tow it, dude. Thankfully, I have some incredible friends. Sean has been my best friend since high school, and he has always owned a truck. I could barely finish telling him about my idea before he offered to let me use his blue F-150. During initial planning, I tried to budget for a car trailer, but I knew it would be a big expense and I'd need a place to store it. Researching them, I was instantly drawn to Futura. I'd seen a few of them around racetracks and really liked that they had a lowering mechanism, making it easy to load race cars without extra ramps or clearance concerns. I called my buddy Sean, yep, another one, to see what he thought of his. We met in 2019 when his dad's Mirage M12 appeared in Vintage Motorsport. We've kept in touch, and when I called to ask about his experience, he had nothing but good things to report and was quick to say, "Don't buy one yet. You can use mine anytime you want and see how you like it." Appreciate you, Sean. And you too, Sean.
But we'll get her up on the rack, take a good look at everything, and see what we can see. Make some race car noises.
Upon initial inspection, there were no major issues with the car.
Not bad, Nick. Cool. I think got a nice looking car. I don't see anything particularly like, oh my God.
The engine had been refreshed by Vision Motorsports prior to being parked, so there were really no on-track hours since the rebuild. But there was still plenty that needed attention, starting with the brakes. Visible cracks on the rotors indicated they needed to be replaced. Oil, filter, and spark plugs needed to be done, since I didn't know when those were last serviced. It was in desperate need of tires, and the wheels needed to be restored as well. I also didn't have any of the parts needed to use the air jacks, so that would need to be figured out. While the intent was never to make a show car, I did want it to look the part, which meant getting a Cup Car rear bumper to replace the cut-up street car bumper that was on it. Lastly, I would need to figure out the livery, the paint scheme and decals that give a race car its distinctive look. The part I was most excited for, and the part I had absolutely no idea how to approach. Great, list is together, time to get to work. Well, not quite. Before diving in, I wanted advice from someone who really knew Porsche race cars. I first visited Apex Motor Club in 2020 for a story I was writing. There wasn't much to it back then, a racetrack and some shade. I mean, that's all you need, right? They liked the photos I shot and asked me back to cover their member race weekend. Over time, I got to know a few of the racers, and one guy always caught my eye. Always in a Porsche, usually a Cup Car. I mustered up the courage to reach out to him, told him what I was doing, and he couldn't have been more helpful. 3 things he said stuck with me. 1, if he could only drive one race car forever, it'd be a 996. 2. Talk to people. Be honest. Everyone wants to help you more than you think. 3. Call Ed Bouse at Demon Speed Motorsports.
First of all, it's a huge leap of faith to jump into the deep end. I know because I did it myself. Didn't feel like I was because I knew a lot about Porsches already. I've rebuilt plenty of motors, plenty of transmissions from the air-cooled era, but still, the Cup Car is a completely different animal. And we get folks that have never bought anything from us who just call up and want to get some knowledge and call up and ask 100 questions, and that's fine too, because even if 10% of those people become customers, they become loyal customers.
I learned a lot from that initial conversation with Ed, including the fact that I would not be running a fuel cell setup in the car as it did in Grand Am.
So originally all the cars came from the factory with tanks, right? They came with 100-liter tanks, and for some series like Grand Am, they required fuel cells. But when you need to put a new bladder in, or you need any kind of servicing done to the cell, it is a lot less expensive to get all the pieces parts and put the cup fuel tank back in versus like just the bladder for the car is like $7,000 or $8,000, and the whole fuel cell would be more like 12, 13. So somebody did you a favor by putting the tank back in.
With a slew of new parts, it was time to head back to Zach's shop. First up were the basics: oil, filter, plugs. Even though it looked fresh, I wanted a clean baseline. Rotors were next. I know you're not supposed to change rotors without replacing pads, but the pads looked almost new, so we just deglazed them and put them back in. We also replaced the center lock wheel nuts and washers. They're torqued to 460 Newton meters, and the ones off the car showed signs of galling. Easy peace of mind, I'd say. Next up, wheels and tires. The car came with 2 sets of BBS LMs, one center lock and one that can be run in either 5-lug or center lock configuration, thanks to old Grand Am Cup rules. The tires? Ancient. Dangerously ancient. I knew Roger from a ton of races over the years, and he was a longtime advertiser in vintage motorsport. Ordering tires was about as easy as it gets. Visit the website, look up the tires needed for my car, and pick up the phone. Not as easy was the cost. The wheels were a bit more complicated. While I liked the nod to the Alex Job RSRs, I knew the yellow needed to go. I wanted to restore them back to BBS gold, but I couldn't figure out whether to paint or powder coat them. I spent an embarrassing amount of time debating and only got more confused, so I finally just chose powder coat by default because no painter would call me back. I had the lips polished, ordered new hardware and seals from Demon Speed, and with some help, started assembling them. I laid down the silicone bead inside the barrels as recommended, crossed my fingers, and moved on. I also needed to figure out a solution for the air jacks. None of the tools came with the car, but Ed walked me through the setup: nitrogen tank, regulator, hoses, wand. His YouTube videos made it foolproof, even for me. Something cosmetic that bugged me from the beginning was the fact that the car was fitted with a regular old 996 rear bumper that was cut in the middle for the exhaust. Demon Speed sells 996 cup bumpers, so I rang them again and ordered one. It was pricey, but the annoyance of the current bumper had festered long enough that I couldn't let it ride. For reasons I still don't understand, I decided to paint the bumper myself. Armored with YouTube, rattle cans, misplaced confidence, and a couple of helpers, we got to work. Luckily, their eagerness to participate faded before it was time to break out the respirator. If I'm honest, the results were less than perfect, but it's a race car after all. My buddy Jordan was in town a few days later, and helped me mount the bumper. He's been working on race cars his whole life and has fielded many dumb questions from me over the years. Another person I couldn't have done this without. Thanks, dude. Now the livery. Technically the most cosmetic part of the project, but the one I was most excited about. It's what makes the car recognizable and instantly tells its story. I started by trying to recreate some of the decals myself. I had some experience creating vector graphics in the past, and after I found a template of the car, I was able to figure out the orange checkered flag portion. But once I tried to recreate logos, I quickly realized I was way beyond my abilities. Then I remembered a conversation with Mike Lashmet of Vintage Indy about the Dario Franchitti Rookie Indy 500 car that he restored. He said he used museum photos as a reference and a graphic shop that specializes in restoration decals. I phoned Chuck Lessick at Zach Graphics and instantly realized they would be my saving grace.
It's kind of weird because we call it Zach Graphics, and we do silkscreen, embroidery, vinyl graphics, and signs and stuff like that, but we really don't, we do all the signs, and we don't do a lot of sign work. We do a lot of race car graphics. I mean, that's just the community we're plugged into, because I used to race myself, and we're a racing family. My kids grew up at the track, so that's us. The biggest part is the research. I found is that you get the best pictures you can get, and you maybe make out what that sticker was or where it was, and like on your car specifically, the Grand Am logos on there. I remember those stickers when I was running, that we were sanctioned by Grand Am, the little oval, with the wheel up front like that. And I'll have one around. I can scan it. I don't have any. It's just the things. Again, on race cars, unless somebody's preserving them like you guys do, a lot of stuff just ends up in the garbage. It's gone. I would say, if you ask me, what's the secret? I would say 3 things. One is, as we talked about, the research. The 2 would be the method. That, okay, if I'm going to recreate this sticker, I know I need to start with this. And for me, I'm usually starting with what size, what shape, and build the background, and then build it up from there, possibly, right? And then the third thing would be, as you just said, the catalog, building the catalog. Anytime I'm working on somebody's car, and mechanics especially are famous for putting stickers on their toolbox, right? I was on this team. I was just at Rick over at his shop, Rick Duman. He's got a toolbox with a bazillion stickers on it. So the first time that I was there, I'm like, can I take pictures of your toolbox just so I have these should we ever need them?
Well, there you have it. The car is ready, and it's all thanks to me. Yeah, right. I know I keep saying it, but this stuff is not just about cars. It's about people. None of this happens in a vacuum by myself, and nothing would be accomplished without me saying, I don't know. Can you please help me? I'm grateful I stepped into the unknown, and my hope is that you will, too. Where do we go from here? Well, I'll give you one guess.
Mechanics, we run on caffeine, nicotine, and a little bit of rage.